All right, we are coming in live, folks. Now's the time. Let me just get some things situated here. Looks like we're at the top of the hour. It's 11 o'clock, and I'd like to welcome everybody to Zero Waste 101 for SMBs, small and mid-sized businesses. This is a journey of how to reduce waste and boost your revenue for your business. So we're just waiting on folks to kind of pop in here. And if you are just joining us, go ahead and introduce yourself, say hello. You can put your name on the screen or in the chat. You can put your business if you'd like to, or where you're tuning in from, of course. And yeah, say hi. All right. And we'll just get started here in just a minute. Again, thank you all for being here. I'm very excited to dive into this with you. Alrighty, so we're about 1 minute in. Folks should have had time to join. So I'm just going to dive in to make sure that we are respecting everybody's time. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my slides here so that you can see what I see. All right. So hello, everyone. Again, thrilled for you to be here and to have you here today for Zero Waste 101 for SMBs. I'm your host, Stacy Savage, aka the Texas Trash Talker, and I'm going to be your guide for the day. I'm your zero waste expert and recycling nerd of 22 years. So today we're going to embark on a journey to optimize your operations by deep diving waste issues and solutions. So this will give you a quick glimpse as to how your team can unleash the potential of zero waste and save your clients, how we save our clients money, empower your employees, foster brand loyalty, attract and retain top tier talent, and outshine competitors through green marketing. So we'll also introduce at the end our 8-week online Zero Waste Business Academy, which is perfect for small to mid-sized businesses, and for owners and managers who really want to kickstart to expand their waste programs or to improve what they already have. So at the end, we're going to have some time for you to go ahead and ask some questions. We'll do a quick Q&A. So this will be around your kind of specific waste issues, or maybe you'd like to impart some knowledge on the rest of us about strategies that may be working at your own place of business or your company. And if you want to chime in at the end, I definitely encourage it. So we all have something to learn. So this is a learning platform, and I want to make sure that folks feel safe and comfortable to express themselves, either by asking those questions or imparting some knowledge, or maybe you have some technical issues that you'd like some real-time solutions for. So at the end, we'll do that and we'll be all ears. So let's go ahead and get into our session. Our session agenda here. Right now, we're going to be talking about zero waste and circular economy concepts, some financial benefits to waste reduction, green marketing tactics, employee empowerment, building brand loyalty through eco operations, and our online Zero Waste Business Academy. But this is really about addressing the waste headaches or nightmares, problems on your property, or however you want to categorize them. So I'd like to get a sense of your level of waste aversion at your property, or just an overall sense of how you think your company is doing. This is really a chance for you guys to put into the chat right now your answers to these couple of questions. And we'll be doing questions of the audience throughout so that I can get a good sense of kind of where you're at with your business. And so in one word, how would you describe your current waste or recycling program? It could be terrific, outstanding, abysmal. Maybe you're sending out an SOS because you need help and you don't quite know where to start. Just throw in the chat that one word that really feels fitting for your business operation. All right. And then the next question is on a scale from 1 to 10, how confident do you feel in your own company's current waste reduction efforts? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Where do you rate your company? All right. So some folks are chiming in that they need help. All right. Well, thank you for that feedback. And we're going to get into kind of what situation we're looking at as a system here uh, in America and globally as well, where we're looking at the linear economy and how that compares to the newly emerging circular economy. So the linear economy is really a take it, make it, and dump it kind of process where companies extract raw materials from the earth. So think crude oil to make plastics, think deforestation or felling trees in order to make home building supplies, lumber, furniture, all of that. So what happens to it once it becomes used up as a commodity? Once that couch loses its spring, once the house is so old that it falls down, right? Because the wood is rotten. What happens to it? We usually bring it to a dump, and that's where it sits for the rest of its life, right? So we make it, and then once it's made and we buy it off the store shelves or off the showroom floor, then we bring it home or into our office. We use it up, and then it goes to the landfill, or a lot of times can go to incineration as well. So that's what's been serving us, or not really serving us, for the last, I don't know, 100 years or so, since the early last century. And we've been making strides as we get to the middle of the screen here in this graph to get into the recycling economy, where you extract those raw materials from the take part, you make them into a product, and then you recycle that product into other products. And then once they are recycled over and over again, a lot of times they'll just get downgraded. They won't have as much quality or life left into it. So once it is used up fully through those recycling processes, then it again goes to trash or landfill. Um, but if we look at the circular economy, it aims to minimize waste and resource depletion by keeping products and materials in use for as long as possible, rather than the linear economy, which is the take, make, and dump model. So it really focuses on designing products for durability, reuse, recyclability, and strategies like sharing, leasing, remanufacturing to extend the lifespan of products. So this approach aims to create a closed loop system where materials are continuously reused and recycled, which reduces the need for virgin raw materials to be extracted, and that minimalizes the environmental impacts. So many of the waste issues that you may be experiencing on site at your company are most likely because we tend to see trash as an unavoidable expense, right? It's just a line item in the budget. It needs to be there. We can't have trash on our property. And it's really because we're just stuck in this same old linear economy of take it, make it, dump it. So I've got another couple of questions here for you. What is your biggest headache that you face when managing waste at your workplace? Now, this might be employee buy-in. Maybe you're getting resistance and pushback from your C-suite executives. Maybe you don't have any composting in your employee cafeteria. That's a big one sometimes. So drop in the chat what you feel like your biggest headache is around waste reduction. And sometimes these are out of your control. Sometimes you need more information in order to present to your executives. And so maybe you're here to just grab a couple of more, key insights so that you can finish out your proposal that you'll eventually present to your C-suite executives of maybe this is why we need a composting program in our cafeteria for employees. So a lot of these things are not in your control, and I understand that. Some of the things are budgetary, but a lot of times we can pull this information together to make a really strong case for zero waste in your business. So next question is, how many bins do you currently have in like your break room or production area? Is it just one big trash bin where everything goes, or do you have things separated? Do you have trash and recycling? Maybe you've got containers for food waste. So little scope for reduction, mostly process design. Got it. Yeah, a lot of companies that they're like in a manufacturing or design agency, but you may not produce a whole lot of waste, but there is a lot going on when it comes to administrative tasks and paper, cardboard that could be diverted. What else? Metals, even your soda cans or your water bottles, and that's really what we're looking at right now is the things that can be accepted at your local recycling plant. Maybe glass. Some communities don't accept glass, and it's important to know whether they do or don't. You don't want to put glass into a recycling bin and it contaminate the load because your processor locally doesn't take glass. And then, raise your hand if you have ever been frustrated by contamination in your recycling or your food waste bin. Maybe you see trash in there that's, thin, stretchy film plastics, and it just becomes a nightmare because all of this cross-contamination could potentially levy, your hauler could potentially levy fees and fines against you because of that cross-contamination. All right, so moving on, it's important to understand what exactly is zero waste. Oops. There we go. So zero waste is the conservation of all resources by means of responsible production, consumption, reuse, and recovery of all products, packaging, and materials without burning them, and no discharges to the land, water, or air to threaten the environment or human health. And zero waste is usually determined or categorized by a 90% waste diversion, keeping 90% of the waste that comes out of your facility, out of the landfill, out of incineration processes. So that 90%, you can do better than that, of course. That's always the goal, to do more than 90%. But if you can get to a minimum of 90%, you've reached the zero waste standard. And so you can see here the hierarchy of rethink, redesign, reuse. And this one might come in really good for you whenever we talk about the design process of zero waste. You're at the very top. If you have a design firm and you're designing products that will eventually end up on my store shelf that I can buy from you, then you've got the ultimate power at the top, because you do the innovation piece, you do the design for manufacturing, and you do the material selection. So you can select materials that are more durable, that are more easily to be recycled, more easy to recycle. And then also, as a team, you can phase out toxins like lead, mercury, arsenic out of your products as well. So, that's a lot of that is to say that the 90% is one thing, but what happens to that last 10%? What's up with that? So that's usually due to poor product design and material selection issues, because they're non-recyclable in our modern day equipment at the recycling plant. So there's, several other bottlenecks that will occur throughout the supply chain, and getting those materials from the design phase to manufacturing to production and to transportation, getting them on our store shelves, customers like me buying them, using them up, and then where do they go? If they can be recycled, great. If you have a producer take back, branch or arm of your business, excellent. But if it's non-recyclable and it can't go to my composting facility, if it can't go to my recycling facility, then it has to go to landfill. And that last 10% is that poor design. So moving on real quick. Did you know that food waste reduction also has its own hierarchy? So in the circular economy, food permitted businesses can actually follow this hierarchy, and they can reduce waste. As you can see on the top left in the dark green, you can see food waste prevention. Then you can go down the scale of donations, which are legal in the US. And you can work with farmers and ranchers to feed animals, or if you've got a ranch or a farm where you do grow produce, you can leave any rotted produce on the ground to leave it unharvested so that it rots back into the soil. And then you've got your compost operations as well. Maybe you've got an industrial hauler that comes by and scoops up your compostables for your business. But maybe you want to compost at home and you've got a little side yard composter that has a hand crank. So there's all kinds of ways that we can deal with our food waste that are higher and better uses as you go up the scale, and are typically cheaper as well. Whenever you get to the bottom of the scale or over to the right hand side, it's typically paid processes where you have to get a hauler to come and pick it up, or you have to buy an anaerobic digester, a large piece of equipment that you put in your kitchen that will digest the materials. So one of the most beneficial is food waste or wasted food that could be donated. So if you have excess food as a business and you hold a food permit, you through the 1996 Good Samaritan Act, all U.S. food permitted businesses can legally donate consumable goods to food rescue and redistribution groups, nonprofits, and they're trained to properly handle those food items, right? You also have to keep everything to proper time and temperature standards through your state's health code as well, but it has to be made as a donation in good faith. That that there's nothing wrong with the product, and maybe it's just a little too close to the expiration date that you don't want to serve it, but it's still good. It can be kept frozen, in a cold walk-in until it's donated. So, once you do that, you can actually apply for an IRS tax credit of up to 15% of the fair market value of that food donation. So keeping a list of what you've donated, how much it cost you as a business, who you donated to and when, and then calculating out what you would have paid or what you did pay. And instead of all that food hitting landfills, you're actually feeding hungry people in your community and getting a tax benefit for it on the back end. So you might be asking yourself, who is this woman? I mean, yeah, I might have seen her on LinkedIn and I've joined her business page. Maybe I joined this LinkedIn Live, but what are her credentials? As I mentioned earlier, I'm founder and CEO of Zero Waste Strategies. We're an Austin-based consulting firm. We specialize in waste reduction for businesses, municipalities, and institutions such as higher education campuses. And since 2013, our team has worked with some of the most reputable global brands in the world that you can see here. And these are just to name a few. And yes, we work with very large businesses, but because zero waste is scalable, we also work with small businesses as well to mid-sized businesses. So this is something that we can implement at any stage of your business, any size of business. All right. So what are the key strategies of reducing waste? So let's start by addressing the elephant in the room, which is cost. Waste can be very expensive if you're not doing it right. And so the cost of upstream raw materials to downstream disposal fees, waste can really eat into your profits. But what if I told you that by implementing these zero waste programs that you could significantly cut those costs? Well, let's start off with waste auditing. How do we do this? Waste auditing is a great way to start. It helps you identify the types of wastes that are being generated at your facility and any potential problem locations on the property, as well as problem materials. Let's say you have an excess of styrofoam because of packaging of materials or products that you're getting into your business. And what do you do with that styrofoam? It's not necessarily recyclable in your recycling dumpster. You don't want to put it in there. It is recyclable, but it shouldn't go in the trash. But some cities have styrofoam recycling, some cities don't. What is offered in your local area? Can you get that stuff recycled? So you wouldn't really notice it or know it until you do a waste audit to identify what materials are coming out of your facility, where the problem locations are on your facility, and what are the problem materials. And so after that, once you get all that data and your percentages of trash versus recyclables versus compostables, then you can start implementing your programs, right? So you can set the expectation to drive waste diversion and material recovery through your programs. For example, the onboarding process for new employees might have a section in the personnel policy where they agree to use the trash, recycling, and composting bins properly and to ask questions of the management if they're kind of unsure. So next would be tracking your results. So you got to monitor your dumpster fill levels, your contamination rates, and your purchasing policies. So here's an example of that. Many companies are starting to use sensor technology on their dumpsters and compactors that will track the fill levels of how full they get by what time of the week. And they'll also be able to track contamination, cross-contamination issues. Are you finding, huge cardboard boxes that are still, constructed? They're not been flattened. Are you finding those in the trash? Why are they in the trash? That's a recyclable item. It should go into your recycling stream. So some of these sensors are able to determine that cross-contamination issues and they use either lasers, or they can use photography, where you get photography on your dashboard and you can see where the cross-contamination issues are being discovered by the system. But these types of systems can ping your employees as well with notices of issues at dumpster locations, and also ping your hauler companies when receptacles are ready for pickup. You can also look at procurement practices. What are your purchasing practices as well, where you see your company can reduce purchasing, maybe not buying as much, so that not as much waste is ending up in the dumpsters out back. And this is especially important for food. So think of how quickly things rot. It's important to space out your purchasing properly. And then what are the long-term benefits, right? So working with your haulers to get a right-sized operation. And what I mean by that is to a right-sized approach for your dumpsters. How many dumpsters you have required at the property, the number or the capacity of each dumpster. Do you need a 10 cubic yard or a 6 cubic yard? And the number of pickups scheduled per week. Do you need 5 or do you just need 3? So a lot of hauler companies will come out to your property. They'll build you out a program, get you to sign contract paperwork, and then you're kind of just locked into way too much capacity for what your business needs actually are. And so having a right-sized approach is important, so that you are not overspending on overcapacity. And let's face it, whether your dumpsters are full or not, your hauler is still getting paid the same amount. So why not optimize and have the least number of dumpsters at the least amount of capacity and the least number of frequency of pickup throughout the week, so that you can really bring down your costs, and you can take those costs or those savings and put them over into new programs. So next, we're going to look at education, and let me just check the chat real quick to see if we've got any additional comments in there. Nope. And as I go through this, please feel free to just drop your questions in the chat. I'll keep going back to check them out. So empowering your employees through education is going to be key. Your employees are your greatest asset in the fight against waste. By educating them about sustainability, you empower them to take ownership of waste reduction efforts and contribute to your company's environmental goals. So what does this look like? Well, training sessions are absolutely key. So these are regular workshops on sustainability practices. So you want to set up regular training sessions with new and current employees. Maybe you want to use color-coded bin systems. Usually black, gray, and tan are designated for trash. Blue is usually for recycling, and green is usually for food waste composting. You also want to make sure that there's matching color-coded signage that match the bin colors as well. And those signs should have graphics of things that are allowed and things that are not allowed in each bin. And so this helps you reduce your cross-contamination rate and increase people's confidence on how to recycle properly. And you kind of just make it fun and gamified, so those lessons will stick during your trainings. What we do is pop quizzes, test your recycling knowledge, buzzer games, true, false. You can implement all kinds of fun games into your actual training sessions so that it really sticks top of mind and people are having fun with trash. So next would be idea generation. Encourage your employees to contribute their own solutions. So maybe you've got a prominent suggestion box on each floor of your building where employees can put suggestions into the box that are anonymous. And maybe you want to host an employee roundtable to discuss sustainability actions that they would like to see on site. It's important to engage them, ask them how they envision the implementation process of a particular program, and if they could possibly anticipate any pushback from their peers. Who might be some of the naysayers, who might be your champions, if those programs were actually in place. Next would be implementation. So you want to take the best ideas from the idea generation phase and put those into practice across your departments. So one option is to hire a consultant like myself who's already tapped into the global best practices of zero waste so that your business can start saving money ASAP. But if you're not in a position to hire a consultant financially, this is exactly why we started our 8-week online Zero Waste Business Academy. It's especially geared for businesses that don't really have an employee that's dedicated to sustainability or can't exactly afford to hire a consultant to do a full program planning and customization. So that's where we come in. That's where we kind of take that guesswork out of the process through the Zero Waste Business Academy. And it's a simple coaching program with customizations around planning, programming, implementation, so that you feel supported in your endeavor for your company and that you are building your own confidence as a zero waste program implementer. And you can feel confident in conveying the zero waste best practices to your employees as well. So the last here at the bottom left is increased satisfaction, which is critical. So you really want to tap into this to increase your morale among your employees. This really helps reduce your turnover and it builds leadership development among your employees. So think about starting a green team or giving more responsibility to the green teams that you already have developed. And help them prove their dedication to this corporate sustainability goals. If I was working in a major corporation or even a smaller mid-sized business, I would want my employees bragging to their circle of influence inside the business four walls and outside in their personal life about how the company's commitment to sustainability is so strong and how they feel like they're part of the bigger solution. So when we talk about the employee morale, we really want to talk about recruitment and how to retain the top tier talent. So reducing your overhead is critical to any business operation, and it builds a strong commitment to sustainability. That can really make your company more attractive to potential employees who value environmental responsibility. And in today's competitive job market, this can be a very significant advantage in recruiting that top tier talent. So job seekers, especially your millennials and Gen Zers, they are actively seeking employees with strong environmental stances. So this means highlighting your zero waste initiatives in your job postings during interviews. This can help attract candidates who actually share those green values for environmental protection and social justice. You can also use it to improve your retention rate. So employees are more likely to stay with the company that aligns with their personal values. And this can lead to lower turnover rates and reduced hiring costs overall. So this alignment really creates a sense of purpose within your workforce that goes just beyond a paycheck. And then last here of practical implementation. So you want to incorporate sustainability into your company culture to make it a solid expectation of everyone, no matter what role in the business you hold. So new hires should agree to following the new zero waste protocols when being onboarded, and managers can also recognize and reward employees who contribute to company's zero waste goals through formal recognition programs or advancement opportunities as well. So our team has really fantastic education and engagement strategies again, through our Zero Waste Business Academy, which you can sign up for at a very nice discount at the end of our session, right before we get to the Q&A. We'll go over all that. So next is building brand loyalty. And this is critical for all businesses, especially if you want to be a standout in your industry. So today's consumers are more environmentally conscious than ever. They want to support businesses that share their values for environmental and social justice. And by adopting zero waste practices, you can actually build trust and loyalty with your customer base that translates into long-term relationships. So notice how these two graphics or pictures look very similar, but I'm going to tell you they're totally different. Because the one on the left is a business that's looking at a customer's behaviors, their buying habits, family composition, age, beliefs, political standings, socioeconomic status, religious leanings, and so on. And where the one on the right is customers that are looking at your company's environmental goals, the targets, green marketing and messaging, transparency, reporting metrics, and execution to see if they even want to buy your brand. So there's two sides of the same coin here. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander, as they say. But believe me, you are absolutely being investigated as a company by your current consumer base and your potential customers. So many have been caught greenwashing, where they say they're doing one thing, but for environmental stewardship, but they're actually doing something totally different, and they don't have any metrics or numbers to back it up. And they've been absolutely rocked by PR scandals and nightmares. And they're getting called out on social media as well, where they're being exposed to the public, especially when like the local news grabs hold, right? So as far as marketing strategies go, on your left-hand side of the screen, you got to make things clear. Transparency not only attracts eco-conscious customers, but it strengthens your brand reputation. Backing your company's product claims with data can reduce any suspicion of greenwashing, which customers are very good at spotting these days. And then toot your own horn. Why not? Go for it. Highlight your sustainability efforts in your marketing campaigns. You want to share your success stories and milestones on social media, your website, communications with customers, your prospects, employees, investors, and your shareholders as well. Let them know what you're doing. And then at the bottom there on the left, your competitive edge. So zero waste really does help differentiate you from your competitors who aren't addressing environmental concerns. So there's loads of marketing teams out there that are overlooking green storytelling as a competitive edge, mainly because they don't quite see it as a viable option for content creation, or they don't quite know how to fit it in or hit the mark whenever it comes to building out context within that content. So on your right-hand side, whenever it comes to customer expectations, you'll see higher expectations. So modern consumers are increasingly expecting businesses to demonstrate environmental responsibility. They are very savvy shoppers. They research company practices before making a purchase decision, and they're very much willing to pay more for sustainable products and services. And then you got to get them in their feels, right? By meeting these expectations, you create an emotional connection with your customer that goes far beyond transactions. This is actually building long-term growth for business legacy. So next we have how to kind of gain a green marketing edge. We just talked about green storytelling and how many marketing teams kind of overlook that as part of their marketing solution. So we want to differentiate your brand with strong sustainability message that can set you apart from your competitors. So I want to start with this graph, and we're going to start from the bottom up with sustainable practices. So you implementing comprehensive zero waste strategies, this really is the point of building your foundation. You can see it at the bottom for a reason. You've got to start somewhere. And the longer you wait, the more expensive everything gets as years pass by. And that means your hauler fees. That means products that you're bringing into your office as well. So starting now is the best time to start. An even better time to start was yesterday. So you got to, really focus on it, in educating and empowering your employees today, and they really do deserve that as well, to be able to follow those sustainability practices that you put into place. The next step on the pyramid here is authentic messaging. So you want to communicate genuine sustainability efforts. Whatever you do, please do not overstate what you're doing as far as sustainability within your company. What your targets are and where you're going. You've got to give real data, and you have to be honest and authentic with your audience. So you have to build out the metrics behind your green claims, and your annual sustainability reports really need to reflect genuine concern and active measures that are being taken on site for building up your green operations. And that's something that customers really appreciate. Moving up to the next piece of the pyramid here is green certifications. So this is building enhanced credibility with recognized business standards. So think about getting your facility certified. There are over a dozen green facility certification standards out there. It's important to research several of those programs, identify if there are any easy wins that you can achieve, because maybe you're already doing what they require. You just need to apply to get the certification. But also challenge your team and your employees, especially your C-suite, to rise above and go for a certification that might be a little bit harder. It will all be worth it in the end, believe me. My team and I are certified as True Advisors, and that stands for Total Resource Use and Efficiency. So True Advisors, we're under the authority of the U.S. Green Building Council, which is the same organization that administers the LEED standards for energy and water conservation and green buildings. So we're working with several clients now to get their facilities True certified for zero waste. And they're going to be joining only about 500 other properties globally with this particular certification. And that's a huge honor and achievement and distinction. And so moving up to the very top of the pyramid here is market leadership. So position your company as an industry sustainability pioneer. So as environmental concerns continue to grow among public officials, the business communities, shoppers, companies that are leading in sustainability can gain significant market advantages. Don't overlook the opportunity to appeal to the conscious consumer and younger generations that prioritize these values. As you'll see at the bottom, sustainability is not a trend. It's the future of business. By positioning your brand as a leader in sustainability now, you're ensuring long-term success and relevance in an increasingly environmentally conscious marketplace. Plus, it's only going to get more expensive if you wait. I have to drive that point home. Starting now is key. And our team can help you with green marketing strategies to build customer loyalty through our 8-week online Zero Waste Business Academy. And because you're all signed up for this specific webinar, then we're offering our July sign up discount with a discount code at the end. So we'll get to that right before the presentation ends today and right before we get to the Q&A section. Okay, so I want to wrap it up. What did we learn today? So today we have explored the many benefits of adopting zero waste practices in your business, from cost savings and employee empowerment to brand loyalty. The advantages are clear. They're very compelling for businesses of all sizes. So reducing waste can have a direct positive impact on your bottom line. By implementing smart waste reduction strategies, you'll see immediate financial savings that can be reinvested to fuel growth. But the benefits extend far beyond just the numbers. You'll also empower your team, build stronger customer relationships, and gain a competitive edge in the market. Zero waste initiatives are fantastic. They're a great way to get your team really excited about sustainability and give them a strong sense of purpose, again, which ties into recruitment and retention. So this boosts your morale among your workforce, productivity, loyalty even, and which are all very essential for long-term business health. Now, I do have just a couple of questions here, and then I'll get back to the chat area. Let's see. Bear with me here. I'm going to refresh my screen. Okay, so here are the questions that I have for you. Just real quick, if you could wave a magic wand at a waste problem, what would you eliminate tomorrow? So maybe it's food waste or batteries that you don't know what to do with. Maybe it's just wasting too much money on your dumpsters. What do you feel is the kind of the biggest waste headache that you would love to just snap your fingers and get rid of it? All right, and then the next question is, imagine cutting your waste hauling bill by 30%. What would you do with the extra budget? Maybe that's invest in employee training. Maybe you want to add a compost system for all the food waste in your employee cafeteria. There's all sorts of things that you can reinvest that into for building out your green sustainability programs. Drop it in the chat what you feel would be the best solution for you if you had 30% waste reduction savings on your monthly hauler bill. That's a big deal. As an example, we had one business client that's a global brand, and they had a food waste composting program. Their biggest headache was cross-contamination, ending up in the food waste composting systems or bins from their employees. And they were getting charged $2,500 per month because the compost hauler had to sort through all of their food waste to pull out things like thin, stretchy, plastic wrap or metal forks. They would have to pull out soda cans that don't belong in the food waste bin. So they were having to sort out a lot of the contamination, and that compost hauler and processor fined them a lot of money every month. And so we were able to identify as their consultants where this cross-contamination was coming from, why it was happening, what floor it was happening on through that kind of waste audit process that we went through. But we were able to identify the key issue around that and to save the money as well. They weren't perfect, but they were getting fined a lot less. So think about, how do you reduce any fines or fees that a hauler would assess to you because things are not being separated properly on site? And then the very next question is kind of what is holding you back from taking action on your company's waste reduction now, or what's holding you back from improving any current waste reduction programs that you have on site currently. Maybe it's the budget. Maybe your company has other priorities. Maybe you just don't know where to start if you don't have something online already. And then this next question is just a simple yes or no. I'm just trying to get a sense of where folks are at. If I offered you a roadmap to take your company from overwhelmed to zero waste ready in 8 weeks, would that feel like a relief to you? Just yes or no. Put it in the chat. Well, I have good news for you. I'm excited to offer our Zero Waste Business Academy. This is just the thing for you, our 8-week online program that will guide you through proven workplace waste reduction tactics, help you achieve your sustainability goals. But spaces are limited, so you don't want to miss out on this chance to transform your business. So this 8-week online training course comes with self-paced video training modules. So you don't have to be an expert on this. This is a graduated system, so you can learn and then implement as you go. So there's no pressure. It's for all types of learners as well, whether you're visual or you like to read things on paper and you need a checklist. We've got all that for you. Then you get private one-on-one consultation with yours truly. So we want to work with you to combat your waste nightmares privately so that you can feel confident in implementation. Our customized approach would be just for you. And it can build that confidence in putting your programs together and make sure that you've got a successful rollout. And then we have bi-weekly group coaching to network with like-minded peers, and you can bounce ideas off of those peers and our experts. You can learn what's already working in other people's businesses, and you can give insights onto maybe what's working in your business that other people can learn from as well. Then we have proven tactics to get your employees on board. We just went through, some of the training tactics that we use, but it's important and critical to gain worker buy-in and make sure that it's a fun approach. So I'm sure that a lot of you are just so tired of those exasperated eye rolls when even the mere mention of sustainability becomes a topic. So we make zero waste training lots of fun, really exciting, and gamified through our quizzes. We have buzzer games, the true false games, what I just mentioned a little earlier. And then you want to, we focus on sprucing up your green marketing skills with compelling content that helps you align with shopper values so that you can set up your business apart from your industry competition. Remember, green marketing has to come with the backing of your metrics as well. So we help you build out what those metrics need to look like so that you're not caught in some kind of expose or scandal, that you've got the hard data backing up exactly what you're stating for your sustainability claims. And then at the end of it all, then you get a personalized green certification award that signifies your graduation from the course. We also have lots of exclusive bonuses in our program. So you get access to our private LinkedIn community. We give you lifetime access to our exclusive online community of professionals where you can network, share insights, and get support. We have a bonus training module. So if you do enroll, you will receive an additional training module on advanced waste reduction techniques that is not typically covered in the main course. And then printable checklists and templates. We've got all the things that you need to make sure that you're implementing properly and in the proper steps as well. So those checklists and template downloads will help you keep track of waste reduction progress and streamline your processes as well. And then we have a free ebook download that you'll receive on just the 10 quick wins for reducing business waste. It's really packed with actionable steps and tips that you can implement immediately. You'll also get early access to future courses. You'll be the first to know about access to future courses and workshops on sustainability and waste management, and receive discounts for early enrollment. And the final bonus gift here, of course, if you do refer a friend to enroll in our Zero Waste Business Academy and they sign up, the both of you will receive a special bonus gift. So this is the typical Zero Waste Business Academy pricing, with those module training courses and full bi-weekly support calls, your 2-hour private consultation with me, your certification, getting your customized plan development, and all the exclusive bonuses that we just went over. The full price is typically $599. But today you're going to get a discounted rate of $100, where you're going to get the webinar pricing at $499. And so let me see here. So we do have a quick code that I'm going to put into the chat here. Well, not the code. The code is summer. Right? So you go to the website that I'm going to be putting into the chat right now, which is zerowaste.org/get-started. And if you go there, you'll go ahead and be able to see our sign-up page, our enrollment page that goes over all of the different pieces of the Zero Waste Business Academy. And you're not going to be able to find really a course like this at that price that you can overhaul your entire waste system for small and medium-sized businesses and get a very speedy ROI on today's investment. So just click the link that I put in the chat box and you will go to the checkout page, and then you'll just put in your code SUMMER, SUMMER, and receive that $100 off of our normal pricing. And just to let you know that limited seats are available. So this is a very intimate group of about 15 to 20 enrollees at a time. So you'll want to click now to secure your spot. Our newest cohort is going to kick off in mid-August and will end in mid-October. So that's those 8 weeks there. And this is really the perfect time to get your education and your certification before your company's new budget season. So you're going to know exactly which programs to prioritize for the best business outcomes. So with that, I want to go ahead and open this up to our Q&A. And I'll go ahead and get over to the chat. And if you have any questions or if you have any insights that might be able to help other people, definitely put them into the chat. You can ask about implementation, where you get specific advice on how to start implementing zero waste strategies in your unique business environment. Or maybe you have technical questions that you want to inquire about specific tools or resources or technologies that can support your zero waste launch or your current zero waste programs, expanding those. Maybe you want to share your experience as well. Tell us about your current sustainability efforts that have worked for your business and any challenges you may be experiencing, so that we can provide tailored guidance right now in real time. And I'll address as many as I can in this particular interactive session. So a lot of times people will, I don't see any questions popping up in the chat just yet, but a lot of times people will have questions about how to get started. And one thing that we always teach in the Zero Waste Business Academy is that it always starts with a conversation with your hauler. And you need to understand what is in your business waste contracts. What is the actual, language? What are the service terms? How many dumpsters? How many pickups per week? So understanding exactly what that states in your contract is really key, so that whenever you do have a discussion with your hauler and you can start to right size your equipment and your frequency of pickup per week, that's really going to be key. But I would say even before that is doing that waste audit. So whether you want to get up to your elbows for 6 hours in your business trash and picking through, figuring out what should have gone into the trash, what should have gone into the recycling, and how much food waste you're generating, you can do that. It's really detailed. You can build out all the weights and tracking the measurements and putting everything into a detailed report, again, which makes the case for zero waste programs in your business. You're finding the raw data, right? Or you can do visual assessments, what we call lid lifting. You can just lift the lids of the indoor and outdoor containers and find out if you're being over-serviced. If you normally look at your dumpsters out back and they are only half full every single time the hauler comes and picks them up, guess what? You have too much capacity. So what you can do is to just jot it down on a spreadsheet, or bring your tablet out and walk the property and just see exactly, right before your haulers come, to find out how much is actually in your dumpster, and if you have too much capacity. So you can start doing that tracking, I would say once a week for 2 to 3 months. Gives you a really good snapshot of how much waste you're actually putting out into the dumpsters each day. And it doesn't have to be daily. You can do it once a week, twice a week, but just before your hauler comes and gets it, that's the key piece there, is to figure out how much capacity you have. Otherwise, they're being paid to cart air off your property. Who wants that? That's just not optimized for business cost savings. Alrighty, well, I think that is it for today. And if you think of any questions later on after this presentation, feel free to DM me on LinkedIn to tell me what popped into your mind, and if you have any issues that you thought about, and maybe we can help you out there through the DM chat on LinkedIn. So we can pitch in wherever we can. We're here to help. And if you want to purchase that Zero Waste Business Academy, of course, I put the link into the chat. It's just zerowaste.org/get-started. So we'd love to have you on board with our program and building out your zero waste programs over the next 8 weeks or so, starting in mid-August. Alrighty, well, thank you everyone for joining us. We sure do appreciate your time and your attention to these issues and your own waste issues. If you do want to contact us to discuss the Zero Waste Business Academy a little further, you can always schedule with me. I have a scheduling link on our website, which you see at the very bottom there. You can also just give us a call. We're here in the US, in the Texas area, in Austin. So feel free to call our business line that you see there, or contact us via the contact page on our website, or you can just click the calendar link on our homepage as well, just to go ahead and book a 30-minute call on my schedule. But I'd love to talk to you about it. Feel free to reach out with any additional questions again. And always remember that zero waste is a journey. We're here to help, and I look forward to seeing your success. Thanks, everyone. Bye.